You know, Asia understands that if it wants to accelerate its economic, its scientific development in societies like Korea, like Japan, which are heavily monolingual, it has got to be able to have high caliber people going out into the world to bring back what is interesting in the world, to help the industry, the infrastructure, and so on. So Asia, some of the tiger economies of Asia have for a long time been working in English in order to prepare their young PhD students or others to work, to travel, to be mobile, to go abroad and to come back. So Asia has had a strategic policy of developing English in a few very special faculties. There are two subjects in the curriculum which are very sensitive to emotion. In other words, if something goes wrong when you're learning one of them, if when you're very young you feel embarrassed or you feel silly, it can actually block you from progressing your learning right through many ages. One of those is mathematics, and the other one is languages. I think the problems that we have in some countries is that the way we introduce a young child to another language is often done in the wrong way. It's often done in a school environment where, quite frankly, when you have 25, 30 children in a classroom, that is itself a stressful environment. When a teacher asks you what is the correct answer and you don't know, and all the kids laugh, those things have a big impact on a lot of young people. So I think the answer that when we've looked at this in, for example, countries where there are real blocks, the answer is that there is an emotional block which has undermined the most personal self-confidence towards doing it. There's a feeling of, I can't do it, and if I do it, people will basically laugh at me. The development of Clil was specifically to show the young person that learning a language at the same time as learning something real is not only a pleasure, but it focuses on the something real more than the language. So the mind of the student, they forget they're learning the language because they're learning about the mountains, or they're learning about the moon, or they're learning about lifestyle, whatever. So the way to combat this is to integrate language learning with real content learning so as to disguise it. It's not trickery, it's common sense. Why would you learn a language if it has no content? Actually, it was very similar to what we found about internationalization of schools, and that is that teaching or subjects are often in a silo. They're taught in a silo way. You know, there are big thick walls between subjects. And actually, in a modern world, that is these are artificial walls which actually hinder two things. They hinder creative thinking because very often the challenges in life or the situations in life require multidisciplinary thinking, and very often they hinder the sense that what I'm learning is relevant to the world. So if you break down the walls in school and you break down the walls in university, what happens in university is they realize that the intellectual potential between those segmented walls is much better if it comes together. If I give you an example from school, it's environmental science. It's a new subject. It requires input from physics, from chemistry, from geography, from biology, and then it becomes a powerful learning subject. In universities, one of the best examples recently is nanotechnology. Much more successful when there's integration and when people work together. Finland was very successful in actually breaking down the barriers between faculties, but also establishing a close relationship with those responsible for society, for social welfare, and those responsible for industry. And so that triad has been a very powerful new marriage and a very fine example of integration.